First of all, I'm just gonna say it. Be prepared to be exhausted. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and I am a new grad veterinary surgeon. I graduated in July 2020 and I started working as a small animal vet in August 2022. So it's now been 7 months since I started working and I still can't believe it. I can't believe that I'm a vet. I can't believe that it's been 7 months and it's just crazy. The time has gone so fast and I just feel as though I have grown and learned so much since starting. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the challenges I faced, what I've learned, some of the highlights that I've had during the 7 months, and also at the end I'm going to give a few tips or some advice that might help you if you are about to start your new job as a vet. I was really scared before starting, so I just want to make this video to kind of help or kind of give some insight into what you might be getting into once you graduate, or maybe you're not even there graduating yet, but it's just, you know, some information that might be of interest to you. Okay, so I started off working in a small branch with just me and the branch partner as the other vet. I was with him for 12 weeks as part of my training because I did go on to a graduate scheme when starting because I just wanted a lot of support, and I really found that I got a lot of support. So in my experience, I would recommend going on a grad scheme. I know some other people haven't had the best experience, but my personal experience has been really good. So yes, I did 12 weeks first at that small branch, 4 days a week, and I felt as though I got so much support. I was able to watch how he speaks to the owners, how he deals with the pets, and just, you know, get a feel for like real life being in a consult and doing surgeries and stuff. I actually did a 3-week update, which you'll find on my channel as well. So I think you'll be able to tell the difference in that 3-week update to now. I just remember feeling so anxious and just worried about even like simple health checks or vaccinations, which I say simple, but sometimes they aren't simple because there's other things going on, but like that's just the basic thing that you would do, would be a health check or a vaccination, because those are routine. So they're coming in and they know exactly what they're gonna get done for their pet. So then after my 12 weeks, I then moved 2 days staying at this small branch and then 2 days working in the hospital. Now the hospital was and is totally different, and I was really nervous to go in because it's just so different, so much bigger, so much more variety of things to do. But I found that I actually love it. Like, I love it so much. It's stressful and tiring, but it's amazing. It's actually amazing. So the hospital had a lot more new grads and it was way busier, and I just felt as though, probably because of the other new grads, I didn't feel so, I don't know, inexperienced and like scared to ask questions because they were also asking questions and not knowing what to do. I was really thrown into the deep end in the hospital, but I guess that is a good way to learn, good way to just get things done and just get your head stuck in. It was, and it still is, so stressful sometimes with the amount of volume of cases and just a lot of things that are going on there, but always at the end of the day at the hospital I felt accomplished. Like I felt like a real vet. Even though I know I am a real vet, but I don't know, I just felt like I was doing stuff. So some of the challenges that I have faced in the first 7 months are a lot. So to begin with, I spoke about it earlier, but I was very anxious to speak to owners. I didn't feel confident. Like, I don't know, it's just hard when you're the one that's meant to be giving them advice and they're just gonna follow exactly what you say sometimes. But I just felt weird being the responsible one, because obviously through uni you're just learning, and then in placements you're just doing what you're told, but being the one that's kind of like in charge, like, you know, it's just different. So that was very, very hard, and I'm still kind of getting used to that, but I'm way better than I was in the beginning. Another thing is, I always felt so anxious when they were asking me loads of questions, because in my head I had it built up that, oh my gosh, what if I don't know what answer to one of the questions? What if I just look silly? Like, they've come to me to ask these, to find out these answers, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, I don't know, blah blah. But sometimes I still feel like that, but it's just over time I've gotten better at it, because some of the questions are just repeat questions, and obviously even if I do know the answer, because I've said it so many times, it comes more naturally for me to say it, and therefore I'm more confident in saying it. I just remember feeling the worst when they would come in and be like, oh, I have a list of questions that I'm gonna ask, if you don't mind. And then they'll just bring out their phone and then ask all the questions. But it used to make me so scared when they were like, yes, the list. But I have learned to just deal with it and make sure that I'm thinking about their question and don't get overwhelmed, because I probably do know the answer. And if I don't know the answer, I can tell them that I'm going to find out for them, and they're usually like fine with that, because I'm going to find out for them. So that was a major thing. Another challenge I faced was when starting in the hospital. Sometimes it is so hard to leave on time. Like, you're already doing a 10-hour shift, so when the clock hits 7 o'clock, which is when I finish, I want to be out of there. I want to be gone. But no. Sometimes you can't, because first of all, the handover to the night team starts at 7 o'clock. So if you're in the back end hospital dealing with the inpatients, then you have to wait for the night vet to come so that you can hand over all the cases to them. So that would take at least 15 minutes depending on how many inpatients there are. And yeah, then you wouldn't leave on time already. But a lot of the times things would happen at 10 to 7, or like an emergency will come in at 10 to 7, or a transfer from another vet practice that isn't a hospital, they would need to send their pet to the hospital. So then they'll be coming in, they'll be like, oh yeah, they're gonna come in at 7 o'clock, so you have to wait for them and all that. If you're having a quiet day, something's gonna happen half an hour before you leave, before you're meant to leave. Just know that. So I had to get used to that, because yeah, it's a long day. Even though I enjoy it so much, it's just tiring, you know. Another challenge is writing notes. Oh my gosh. So after every single consult, you have to write notes, obviously, about what they came in for and what you did, the plan, blah blah blah. But sometimes there's just, well, most of the time there's back-to-back consults, and you don't have time to write notes straight after each consult. So you just write down the important stuff so that you don't remember when you come back to write your notes. And then yeah, it can just build up, and then it's just a lot to do. So sometimes they do, well, most of the times they do give you admin time in between some of the consults, but usually there's like a large chunk of consults you have to do before you get the admin time. And yeah, sometimes it can be hard. Sometimes you finish the consult early and you are able to type up the notes really quickly before the next one. But yeah, that's just a little challenge that I have faced. I think it's also been super hard to adjust to working full-time. Like, my family always make fun of me because I'm like, I'm so tired, and they're just like, welcome to the real world. But it's hard working full-time, you know, when you haven't well, I guess uni is full-time, but like it's not the same full-time as work full-time. You know, it's hard, especially when you're doing a whole day of consults. Like, you're literally using your brain for the whole day, and it's just a lot because each consult's so different. It could be like one topic could be like something to do with the skin, the next one could be, I don't know, like an abscess from a cat fight or something, and you keep having to switch and change thinking about what you're gonna do, and I just feel like I'm using my brain a lot. I mean that sounds good, but I don't know, my brain is just, yeah, it's tired. Again, with the consults, I find switching from like a euthanasia consult, like that's super sad. You're trying to consult the owner, you're going through the process of doing a euthanasia, and then literally your next consult could be an owner that's just got a new puppy, so they're super happy, so you have to switch from being sad and then to going out and be like, oh Fluffy, come in, and being upbeat and happy, you know. Like, I think I can do that. Like, it's not that hard, but when you think about it, it's strange to do, because I am sad in the moment. I feel bad, like even before each euthanasia thing, like my tummy hurts, like I feel sick, because you never know who they're gonna bring in. They could bring in their whole family, they could bring in just one person, or it could be children there, and it's just, you don't know what the situation's gonna be, and it's just so sad. But then the next consult, I am genuinely happy and excited for the other, if it isn't a new puppy or kitten consult, then I do feel those feelings as well. So it's just weird when you think about switching from one to the next emotion really quickly. So a hard thing is dealing with angry or frustrated clients, because no matter where you are, what industry or whatever, I think that's always going to be hard. It's just, if they're angry, like I try to see their point of view, and then just try to think that they're not angry at me, they're angry with what's happening. And there are a lot of owners that are like shocked by the costs, like veterinary costs, because I know it's expensive, but that's just how much it costs, you know. And it's hard to say why or how, or you can't really say, okay, I'll just do everything for free. And it's just hard to have those conversations when they want to do so much, but then they say it's so expensive, which yes, it can be expensive. So having that conversation is really hard. I feel like surgery wise, it's just experience. You just have to keep doing loads of surgeries and then you just get better at it. But I do find it challenging thinking about, they think I'm taking so long doing the surgery, and the other vets can do it so much quicker. The nurses must be thinking, oh, why am I taking so long? Like, I have those thoughts when I'm doing the surgery that I have to kind of like push out. But yeah, I have those thoughts sometimes. And then my last challenge, I feel like this is so many challenges. But these are the challenges that I've actually had. But the final one that I can think of is dealing with complicated cases, like just cases that I just don't know what to do with. Like, there's just so much going wrong with the animal, so many different systems, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on with this pet. Well, obviously you can't say that, or you can say that. What I do say is we need to do further investigations. But the good thing with this is that I can always ask a more experienced vet for help, and sometimes they don't even know. So then you can always call the RVC and ask for a specialist phone call. It's called a vet to vet advice call, and you can go through the case, and then they can walk you through what they think you need to do, all the investigations and everything. And then you can also send case files to, like, the case history to other specialists, and you can do like Zoom calls. It's really good. Like, there's actually so much help that you can get if you don't really know what else you can do with a case, so that's really helpful. So now I'm gonna move on to things that I've learnt. So at least we got the challenges out the way, because that sounds very depressing now that I'm thinking about it. But I feel like I've rounded it up, because I feel like I've also said how you can overcome the challenges. I have learnt that my clinical skills will improve over time. And obviously, I know that is obvious, but when you're in the situation, sometimes it just feels like you're never going to get better. So I've learned how to handle animals better, although not the best, because I still need to ask for a lot of help, because some of these animals are just crazy. Like, they'll just scratch your eyeballs out, you know. You just need help all the time, basically. But the nurses are always, they're so good. They're just the best handlers ever. They know how to you know, just grip them so I can do what I need to do. I've learned the best technique to give cats pills when they are so sneaky. Like, you'll throw it down their mouth and then they'll spit it back out. But yeah, I've learned how to do that, because before I found it quite difficult to do that. And I have also learned how to do the best way to give the kennel cough vaccine to dogs, because you got to do it up their nose. So obviously, who wants something up their nose? No one. So it can be very difficult, but I've been learning how to get better with each one that I do. So yay me. I've also learned how to work as part of a team. This is, well, I feel like I knew how to work as part of the team before, so this is just kind of something that you'll learn when you do it. But it's really helpful and really fun, because I already said that the nurses are so amazing at being able to hold the animals when you need to like give a vaccination, or you need to like clip the nails or something. They're also really good at doing the blood, so you have to do like certain blood profile thingies in the lab, so you can take the blood from the animals, and then they take it and do it. And then the receptionists are amazing as well, so like when you have like an angry client, or if they want information about how to claim with their insurance for the bill, like they just know all those things, and they know how to handle the clients. They know how to handle sad clients, angry clients, like they just know. I've learned more how to manage my time effectively. I've learned how to prioritize tasks to make sure that I get things done and not just leave everything to the end of the day, because that is not good and you will go home late. So I've learned how to do things, because now I know that there are actually loads of little things that you have to do in between your day of consults. Like, for example, we've got to do callbacks, which is, so if you've taken a sample from an animal, you've sent it off to the lab, obviously you get the results, and you have to call the owners back to tell them what the results are, and you have to do that in between your day whenever you have time. So I try to make sure that I am able to do that without leaving everything towards the end of the day. And I've learned that there's always help, which is what I said before. I can ask other vets, I can ask nurses, you can do the RVC advice call, you can do Zoom with specialists, and there's just loads of help everywhere if you ever get stuck. So now I just have a few highlights that have been throughout my 7 months, and one of them is when a client asks to see me again, because I'm like, me? Usually they do not want to see me because they're like, oh, are you new? And I'm like, yes. And obviously they would rather see the vet that they've been seeing throughout how many years they've been there. And sometimes I feel very offended because they're like, no offense, but can I see blah blah blah? And I'm like, okay, if you want to. But I did overhear a client ask for me, that they were asking at reception when I'm going to be in again, and I was like, oh, so that made me feel a bit happy, you know. Other highlights have been getting to do surgeries and procedures. Like every time I get to do something new, it's just fun. Not fun, but well, yeah, fun. I like it because I'm learning something, I'm getting to do something new. So I got to do an ear tip amputation of a cat, like both ear tips. I also got to do a toe amputation. That was very cool. And like a couple of weeks ago, I got to unblock my first ever cat. So that was kind of grim for the cat because that procedure is just not nice at all. But I did it. So I'm very happy about that. I love building relationships with the clients. So especially, like, I just love the new puppy and new kitten consults because they have to have 3 vaccinations for like around 4 weeks apart. So I get to see them, I get to see the owners and the puppies / kittens. So that's really nice to get to see the same client and the same pet over and over again. Like I really like, and they remember me, and I'm just like, oh yes, me again. So it's nice to do that. And then I just love having fun at work with the other new grads. It's just so great to have other people that you can relate to, because so there's me who started in August, there's some other grads that started in May, like before me, and then there's like another new grad that started just after me. So we're all new, but we're all like within a few months of each other. So it's just really nice talking to them and then just having fun and stuff, you know, just general fun work things. So those would be my highlights. Okay, so now let's move on to tips for new grads that are about to start. So first of all, I'm just gonna say it, be prepared to be exhausted. There's no other way to say it. Like, I'm tired. I love it, but I am tired. It is hard. Rewarding, but hard. So just as long as you know that and you're happy to do that, then yeah. I would also say be prepared to learn a lot, which I think you know already. But also I don't know if it's just, well, it's not just me because I've spoken to loads of other new grads, and I would say be prepared to feel like an idiot sometimes, even though you're not. But I feel so silly loads of times, like asking questions, but I still do it, I just ask the questions. But yeah, I feel silly loads of times. I would say always ask for help. Don't be scared, even if you feel like it's a simple question that you should know the answer to. It's better to ask and be 100% sure than to just try and like wing it and then maybe do a mistake or something or say the wrong thing. Like I'm always shy. I'm always shy. I'm just like, can I ask you a question? And then I just say it. I just ask. I would say to buy some scrubs by figs, because that would just make you feel nicer and more professional, unless you get like super nice scrubs from work. Like my scrubs from work are okay, well the top is anyway, but the pants, they're like parachute pants. But I really love the figs pants because they're like joggers as well, so they're very comfortable, and I don't know, it just makes you feel nicer, you know. The best tip that I would have is to book holidays. Make sure that you book holidays and you spread it out so that you have something to look forward to, because even though you love every day and some days might be harder at work, I feel like if you have something to look forward to, then it just breaks up your work time, because at the beginning I felt as though I was just working, sleeping, working, sleeping, working, sleeping, and I just felt like I had no time to myself. So I would say book that holiday because it's great. So I went to Colombia in January, and now in April I'm going to Mexico, Cancun. Whoop, whoop. But yeah, I would say to book a holiday often just to break it up. Even if it's not an actual holiday, like book your annual leave so that you can maybe have like a long weekend, because just so you're not feeling like you're just waking up, working, sleeping, waking up, because I feel like that's how it can feel. Like I've spoken to other new grads when we've like joined up, and that's how everyone feels. Another tip is to make sure that you always have a pen in your pocket and you always have a scissors as well, because sometimes it's hard to find these things. Like sometimes they're just scattered on the table or in their pen holder at work, but sometimes I'm searching for a pen for ages and I cannot find one. So it's always good to have one in your pocket, and I have two in your pocket because someone will ask you for your pen, you give it to them, and then you'll need it 10 minutes later, you don't have a pen. So yeah, and then the scissors is really good as well, because when you're doing the catheters and you're doing the bandages and stuff, you just need the scissors. So have it in your pocket and you'll be good. Meal prep, because you're gonna be tired. You're not gonna want to cook, you're not gonna want to make your lunches every day, so I just make it on Sunday for the whole week, and that's that. Because yeah, when you come home, you're not gonna want to make your lunch. In the morning before work, you're not gonna want to make your lunch. So meal prep, or you'll be ordering lunch all the time, or you can go out for lunch, which that'll be cool, but sometimes you don't actually get most of the times I have actually gotten a full lunch, but sometimes you won't get a full lunch, so you don't know when you'll be able to just go out and get your lunch. So I would say meal prep. And then also be prepared to have self-control, because you're gonna get so many sweets, so many chocolates, like so many biscuits coming at work, and yeah, you'll just eat them all. But then it could also be a tip to eat them all, because then you have some joy of some tastiness while you're working, you know. One thing that really helped me is make sure that you have a notebook, so that every time a hard consult comes in, or like a complicated consult comes in, or even a simple one, for example, I don't know, a dog coming in limping, you can write down what you discussed or what you did in the consult, because then you have at least some differentials, because sometimes it's hard to think of it right in front of the owner, you know, because you'll know it in the back of your mind, but when you're face to face with them and they're asking you questions and stuff, sometimes it's hard for it to come out of your mind. So I would say to write it down, and then because when they book in the consults, you can see what it is about roughly, so then you can look at your notebook and be like, oh, I've done something like this before, and then just have a quick review of it so that it'll be fresh in your mind. So that has helped me a lot of times. And then also write down frequently asked questions, and have it like at the back of your notebook. So when I first started, I really couldn't remember the vaccination protocol, because you got to use different ones, so depending on the time, and then the restart vaccination and the ages and everything like that. So I had things like that at the back of my notebook, and yeah, that was really helpful, and I still use it. Before, I couldn't enter a consult room without having my notebook. Like I always needed my notebook, and now sometimes I leave it in my car and I'm like, oh wait, I forgot my notebook, but I don't actually need it. At the beginning it's very helpful, and then gradually you won't need it as much. So yeah, have your notebook. And then my final tip would be to make sure that you go out at lunchtime. So if you have an hour lunch, then it's just so much nicer, if the weather's nice, to go for a nice walk at lunchtime, because it's just a different environment and it just breaks up the day and it's just nice. And I'm saying this because I have a park next to my practice, which is really nice to go out at. And because it's spring, it has been so nice to just go out, and the sun, sometimes the sun is out, and it just feels nice to just walk with the nice fresh breeze and then come back to work. So thank you so much for watching. This has actually been a super long video. I've been recording for 40 minutes. Let's see how much I can cut it down to. I really hope that this has been helpful and informative. My first 7 months have been really challenging, but it has been so rewarding, and I'm excited to continue growing and learning as a vet. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye.